Hi, everyone. Welcome to Confluence Conversations, the podcast exploring impactful topics in education, community, and student success. I'm your host, Haley Bruick. Today, we're diving into a story about leadership, access, and how swimming can save lives and open doors. Our guest is Mr. Lennox Forrester, Executive Director, O'Fallon Park Rec Complex, YMCA, in St. Louis City, who is championing equity and community engagement through inclusive, affordable programming, and Caroline Mitchell, recognized for her pivotal role in bringing Confluence Academies into the YMCA Summer Swim Outreach Program, helping expand its reach across the entire association. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for definitely having us.
It's a pleasure. We've been chatting a bit, and I'm very excited for our interview here. Let's start off with Mr. Forrester. What in your background led you to where you are now as the executive director?
Well, I've spent a lot of time volunteering at the Y. And whatever I was doing before that, after I gave that up, I wanted to be part of the Y because I know how much the Y meant to the community and the impactful work that the Y does in the community and the life that it could change. So, that's the reason why I'm here at the Y.
And how long have you been there?
I'm going on my 8th year now.
Okay. And Ms. Mitchell?
Yeah, I've been with the Y for 23 years. I was a teacher before then and came to the Y as part of their literacy programs. And I'm really excited that the Y has founded a branch that's focused on high school graduation. So I've been running that branch for almost 10 years.
Yeah, this is community, right? YMCA, you're bringing the community together. And you're here discussing specifically the swim program, correct? And you have a partnership with Confluence Academies. Tell me a little bit about how that got started.
Well, the Y, back about probably 2017, 2018, was really, we really decided to lean into aquatics. So a few years before that, a lot of community centers started going to splash pads or getting rid of their pools altogether. And the Y really thought that learning to swim was very important. And so we leaned into the safety side of it and really decided to make a commitment to aquatics and aquatic careers and aquatic safety. And about 10 years after that intentional decision, we really wanted to reach out and make water safety part of what we provided. So here in St. Louis, every summer we would see tragedies happening at family reunions and picnics and things like that because we have so many rivers in our area. And so we decided to open up our pools anywhere we weren't running our own summer camp, so O'Fallon Park in downtown Belleville, to summer schools and camps. And Confluence was one of the first ones that signed up and started working with us on this.
And I believe, too, that's the great work of the Y, to understand the gaps in the community and providing programs to help bridge that gap. And, so for us, it's definitely a great opportunity and the resource that we have to help bridge the gap, especially when it comes to drowning.
Yeah, absolutely. What are some of the numbers, or have you grown? What's it looking like?
Well, I know and Caroline can speak more about this, but for us at O'Fallon Park, we average about 400 kids every summer, that comes over to O'Fallon Park and able to, learn how to swim or learn how to, get out of the water if they fall in accidentally, and how to float on their back, how to pull a friend or family member out of the water. So, for us, we normally average about 400 of those kids.
That's a huge number of, lives you're potentially, and it's not just how to swim. It's life-saving for yourself and others.
Most certainly, because you just never know. Like Caroline said, there's so many different opportunities for people to drown. And for us to recognize that and say, hey, we're going to develop this program to help with that too, that speaks for itself.
How do people get involved or sign up? How does that happen?
So the groups can, every year we start signing people up at the end of January. And so we send out to our school partners. So I work with a lot of the schools through our STEM, our literacy, our youth and government programs. But they can reach out directly to the Y or to me. And then we start scheduling with O'Fallon Park and downtown Belleville. And then throughout the school year, we have discounted swimming lessons available for kids and for adults. We were talking about the numbers. Pretty much all of our branches offer some sort of free water safety program. So whether it's embedded in their day camp, or it's discounted swim lessons, or it's the summer program that Lennox runs, we really want to make sure that everybody can swim. So you can go to our website, which is GWR YMCA, and look for discounted swim lessons or Swim Smart program. But we're constantly trying to engage with people when they can be available for swimming.
Okay, and we can put that link in our show notes. So if you just heard that and you're driving, we'll have that in the show notes. You can check that out. How long, you mentioned camp, like are there different options? Like is there like a swim camp? Is there swim lessons? What are we talking about time commitment from the students?
Well, for O'Fallon Park and many of the Ys, pretty much all the Ys, I should say, and it was really emphasis this year on it, is offering a program called Go for Green. And it's doing a swim test, at the start of camp. So when you come to camp, part of it is going to involve swimming. And so in the very first day, every kid will be tested to see what their swim lessons or their swim skill is, and then kind of go from that. And the goal really is by the end of the camp, they learn how to swim. And that part too, they get a green wristband to where, and those kids feel proud too that, hey, I got my green band now, so now I can swim. So that's kind of what we kind of develop inside the swim camp as well.
So they're swimming with others with the similar skill, and then they move along. Is it kind of like that you evaluate them? Mm-hmm. And then they go according to
correct. But and like I said, the goal at the end of the camp is for every kid to learn how to swim. On top of the swim outreach that we also do too.
Do they do other things too? Like do they take advantage of the YMCA and all their offerings while they're there in camp? I'm assuming.
Oh, most certainly. They do, and I think that's the great thing about the Y. We have so many things that we offer to where kids can come in and take advantage of that.
Well, and one of the things I love about O'Fallon Park and Lennox's branch is, and that's really how the Mako swim team and so many things got started, is they want the kids to come back and keep swimming. So yes, this is about water safety and how to help somebody who's struggling if you're not a strong swimmer yourself, and some of those essential skills. But we want people to love swimming. We want people to become lifeguards, all of those things. And so first of all, to see his members be so excited to have kids learning to swim and get in the water for the first time, and then to invite them back. And so the swim team started when Rob West was the executive director at the O'Fallon Park Rec Complex. And he had learned basketball at the Y. So he had grown up. There was an executive director who wanted him to come every day to the Y. And so he put him in charge as a kid of the gym. And Rob came every day and played basketball and ended up being a professional basketball player. When he became the executive director of the O'Fallon Park Rec Complex, as soon as the kids finished safety around water, he said, come back and join our swim team, so that they would swim every single day. And so kids who were just there around water safety ended up now years later on the Mako swim team.
Most certainly.
Tell me more about the team. How many? Do they compete against other YMCAs or areas? Do they travel?
Yes, they do. It's the Y, again, it's our mission, our cause is to development of youth, right? And I think we do a really, really great job at that. And the Mako swim team is another vehicle that they can certainly develop, in, whether it's from the competition side, learning how to swim. Matter of fact, I was at the Bayer Y, another Y in our association this morning, and a gentleman walked in, and he's been part of the swim team, being a lifeguard, and now he's going off to Purdue University in aviation, right? And you know what? I look at that. I was very proud of him and proud of the work that the Y have done to help, develop him into now someday he's probably going to be flying out in space and all that stuff, right? But on our swim team, though, we have our coach. Her name is Teresa Goodwin. She does a really great job. When I first got to O'Fallon Park back in 2022, we had about 25 members of the swim team. Now we have about 40, 45. So that plays a huge role into being able to capture a lot of the teens. And with that development piece, into now, they become lifeguards as well, like Caroline said, and obviously going off to college. So it's just a huge the Mako swim team is just a huge vehicle because Caroline mentioned Rob West, playing college basketball, going professionally. Well, I was also in sports as well, and I understand the importance of sports and how it develop young men, young women, and now for us to be able to do that with the Mako swim team, it's just a great resource for us.
Absolutely, and to be there and not just like see it on TV or something, like that's a whole new level of experience and motivation. I'm looking for like a success story because what I'm hearing is a lot of people start with the YMCA and never leave.
We are very proud that a lot of our senior leadership started in either a teen program or part-time at the Y. But I think one of the things that's really neat, and I'm sure Lennox can talk to this, is just to see the confidence that people build in the program. I get the paperwork side, and so lots of times written on the back of the form, the parent has said, take care of my child. I'm really nervous to send them to swimming because I don't swim myself, but they're just so darn excited. And so seeing the kids really become proficient and confident in the water, I think is really neat.
Most certainly, and I think for on my end, because it happens at our branch, you can see the confidence. From the very first day that they come in, they're very curious. To when they're leaving, they're ear to ear smiling just because of the experience and the things that they've learned in that. And I think as Caroline said, parents are involved, so the kids take that to the parents. And that has also increased the number of parents that we also have taken swim lessons also at the branch, and it's a barrier thing, too. So I think overall, it's just a transition piece to hopefully getting more people to be comfortable with the water, to learn how to swim, to where again the Y's objective, part of the Y's objective, is to bridge the gap as far as people drowning.
I can totally see that, that the parents get involved. I think earlier we were talking counselors even from the schools. Tell me more about that.
So every year we have at least a couple adults who reach out to me afterwards and say, do you teach adult lessons too? Is this something I can do? I think one of my favorite was one year, none of the camp counselors were able to swim, and they all decided after watching the kids, how quickly they learned, how much they loved it, to sign up together to take a class and all learn together and support each other in doing that. And I think, as adults, we always want to make sure kids are taken care of first, but we see that in a lot of our programs. I also run our literacy program, and lots of times once the kids are taken care of, the parents say, is there something at the Y for me too?
Yeah, and if they're not just learning how to swim, but save themselves and others, look what happened in Texas, like real world stuff, right?
Right.
That's a skill. Most certainly.
And that's the thing that we, preach at the Y too is, swimming, it's a basic skills that at some point, we all need and it's fun. One of the stories that will never go away from me, I remember a gentleman learned how to swim at the Y at an older age. And, he wrote me a note and said, since I've learned how to swim, I start living my life. And it was just an incredible story because now he was able to, when he goes on vacation, he can do a lot of, water stuff and feel very comfortable with that. So I thought, that was just awesome letter that he wrote me and just what it meant, for the Y to be in the community and doing great work.
Do kids learn faster? Is that kind of a thing too? Like, so starting at the school age, Confluence academies, the students, is it better to start early?
Well, I look at it as, a foreign language, right? Kids tend to learn a foreign language a little bit faster than an adult because of, it's because a lot of times adults have barriers, right? They sometimes tell them to swim tell themselves, I will never learn how to swim. Right. Where kids are more like, hey, let me jump in and start learning, So I just feel like, kids learn a little bit faster than adults. But again, it's just the commitment that you want to put into it to be able to learn how to swim.
Sure. And once again, that whole life thing, right? You know how to swim. You can help people sooner.
Well, and I think we don't want to judge, and I think so often, like, I learned some things with my kids and I thought I should have, and that negative self-talk was part of not learning. And I think that's one of my favorite things about working at the Y is almost everybody coming to the Y, at least in the beginning, is doing something uncomfortable in their life. They're a new parent and they're putting their child in childcare. It's their first job. They move to a new community and they want to meet people. They're learning to swim for the first time. So most of the things that we come to the Y to do are a little bit uncomfortable, but they're a lot more comfortable if we do them together.
That's very true. And I know I've been to a couple YMCAs and it's very welcoming. It's a very comfortable, open, safe place.
Most certainly. And that's what we want to be. That's something that's stressed from top down in our branch on a regular basis. Is just the welcome piece, because we want to be able to be for all. It doesn't matter who it is. And I'll say this too, is, the staff that's work at all the Ys, either come in as someone that's welcoming or learn how to be welcoming while they're at the branch, because we want people to come there and try to create this safe environment for them to experience and explore and continue to improve on a daily basis with whatever they're interested in.
So I don't know if we are going to post the website and any information that people need to join or to reach out to you or their schools. What have we forgotten? What are we missing?
I think it is just our passion for making sure that it is available to everybody. We know that there are barriers because people weren't given access to pools. And so a lot of parents didn't learn to swim, and that makes it nerve-wracking to bring your family and to do that. Before I was with the Y, I was a teacher, and if parents didn't have a good school experience themselves, they wanted their kids to have a good school experience, but it's harder. There's some extra hurdles. And so we really do want to make sure that this is a positive experience for everybody. And so we have many different ways people can get discounted swim lessons, get financial assistance, bring a group to the Y to address transportation, all of those kind of obstacles that there might be to learning to swim. But I think really I would just say, reach out. And if there is something that you're working on, especially in physical health or in swimming, go to the website, call the branch, because we want people to love the water. We want them to go into aquatic careers. We also have an underwater robotics program. We want there to be marine biologists, and we want to have the waterways that we want to have, and we want everybody to be safe around them.
Yeah. And there's always continuing discussions about barriers that the Y could eliminate from a water standpoint to make sure that, we are bridging the gap, and not just with teens. I mean, I know, our pretty much a lot of our talk today was about the youth, and we mentioned a little bit about the adults as well too. And you can see the difference too with the adults. I mean, in the spring, we had quite a bit of an adult that was very dedicated to learning how to swim. And I think, it trickles down. It's a trickle down effect to where, when parents and grandparents knows how to swim and they see the importance in that, then it trickles down to the grandkids and the kids. So there's always conversation in that as well as from a Y standpoint, how to break down these barriers.
Yeah, no, it sounds like there aren't any. Like, if you have a barrier, well, call us because we'll, like transportation, I know is a big one, with students and stuff like that. But if there's a way to get around that, that's brilliant. Most certainly.
And as soon as you think that you've broken down this barrier, there's always another one, and that's the constant improvement and constant conversation that the Y has to make sure that we are taking on these barriers to continue to do the good work in the community.
Speaking of conversation, thank you very much for having the conversation today and being here. It was absolutely a pleasure.
Well, we really appreciate the opportunity to be able to speak our story and talk a lot about what we do as the Y, because the Y is very important in the community. And we work to be that hub, in the community, to where when someone needs something, they can come to the Y first, and we will help direct them in the right direction. So really appreciate this opportunity.
Well, and we appreciate the collaboration with Confluence. I mean, our goal is to strengthen foundations of communities, and that's our schools and our families. And so if it weren't for being able to work with you, we wouldn't be able to do the things that we do. So it's really great to be able to work collaboratively on this.
It's been a pleasure. And for anyone out there who would like to get information on how to sign up, get involved, please check out the show notes for Confluence Conversations. And thanks for watching.